on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And on the debate tonight, I am joined by Aarti Sathe, spokesperson of BJP Maharashtra, Namit Saxena, advocate on record in the Supreme Court, Sajid Supariwala, leader of the Shiv Sena, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. And my first question goes to Sajid Supariwala. Mr. Supariwala, I want to ask you, this issue was about a particular case, a particular cruise liner. Why are you making it about Maharashtra as a whole? There was no attempt to paint Maharashtra in bad light. If anything, capital was being made out of a superstar's son, which has gone all wrong.
Am I audible to you?
Absolutely.
Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you.
First and foremost, let me clear one thing that, First and foremost, I would like to clear one thing that Aryan Khan was a superstar son. That is why he was targeted. That's what we all feel, not only as a Shiv Sainik, all the Mumbaikars, all the people living in Maharashtra, they feel that just because he was superstar son, he was targeted so that cheap publicity or damage could be done, hearts could be broken, and lots of damage has already been done to this young chap. I am not from the industry or siding with the industry. I am just telling you a simple thing, that he was targeted because he was a superstar son. What about his career? What about his friends? What about his family? Damaged. The image has been damaged, and now the poor guy has been given a clean chit. What does that mean? That means that he was innocent or not. And if he was innocent, then why was he trapped, and by what was he trapped, and what was the reason behind trapping? It was just to give a bad image to the authorities, to the Mumbai police, or whoever concerned with the state and the government. So it was obviously a political stunt which has fallen flat on their faces.
Well, I don't know
That's my stand, and that is my reply
if
to your
this was
question.
the only reason for being, trying to give the Mumbai police a bad name, because the Mumbai police in last couple of years has done more harm to itself than this case has done to them. So less said about it, the better. But Aarti Sathe, I want to ask you a question from the position of a young person in this country. And I want to ask you, Aryan Khan in jail for 26 days. For a 23-year-old child to be put in jail like Arthur Road and be put with all kinds of convicts over there. And then the charge sheet says that there was no evidence whatsoever in this entire case. Do you think you can ever compensate a young man for the time he lost and the loss of face, loss of name, and the damage to his psyche that was done? Can anybody ever repay that?
Look, first and foremost, I think, besides the fact, I think we need to divorce ourselves from the fact that this is a case of Aryan Khan's celebrity son, and hence give it so much of, unnecessary importance. It has gained importance. Celebrities do garner their importance. My point here is that what happened to him, or whether he was put in 23 days or 26 days, I think we as BJP from day one always said that let the law take its own course. There are several under trials in this country, and probably that is the sad part of the judicial system, who are really languishing. Has anybody talked about their psyche? And I'm not justifying it. I'm not justifying the fact that whether what was fair or unfair insofar as Aryan Khan is concerned. I think what was found in his possession, if today the NCB has given a clean chit, then it's good. It's very good that the clean chit has come to him. But we consistently said, let the rule of law play itself out, and that's exactly what has happened.
But ma'am, when the agency, when the agency which arrested him on the basis of evidence that they had, they told him about consumption, they tested him for nothing, and then the officer who was investigating him comes out to be a black sheep. Then should questions not be asked of the manner in which agencies are being run?
But why? even questions we asked right in the beginning, that when the time the agency was doing their role, there were people like Nawab Malik who were constantly trying to prejudice this case. In fact, in my earlier debates, I have consistently said, y'all are prejudicing it, y'all are making it a political issue. Do not make it as a political issue.
Ma'am, sometimes, no, ma'am, sometimes politics is not the only point. Sometimes politics is not the only point. You may have BJP versus NCP versus Shiv Sena. You're most welcome to it. Why involve the rest of the world?
I don't have it. In fact, I'm saying consistently that don't politicize the issue. But what happened here is that unnecessarily opposition parties, or rather the ruling parties in Maharashtra, jumped into the debate, jumped into this entire thing and tried to...
So Aryan Khan was punished for it. So Aryan Khan was punished for it.
Well, see, whether Aryan Khan was punished for it or whether NCP did the right thing or the wrong thing was something which we consistently said the rule of law. Let the rule of law play out, and today the rule of law has played out.
Tehseen Poonawalla,
the evidence was poor.
Tehseen Poonawalla, the rule of law has played out because Nawab Malik was saying something and the BJP didn't like it, so Aryan Khan became a pawn. At least that's the sense I'm getting. What's the sense you're getting?
This absolutely shameless officer Sameer Wankhede, and I've been on your show saying this all along, was a headline hunter. He went after Aryan Khan with zero evidence. Even on your shows then, we said that he had no possession, there was no test on him. And he even went after Riyaz Chakravarti. He would only do this for headline hunting. He said in media and in courts that this is a part of international conspiracy. He said that about Riyaz Chakravarti. And in both these cases, nothing's moved ahead, and we've said this consistently. Sameer Wankhede deserves the harshest punishment because he's taken a fine agency down only to grab headlines and has turned out to be a shameless officer who's put innocent people behind bars. Does that mean other innocents should continue to suffer? No. But it means that headline hunters, Singham type officers need to be shown in place, and Sameer Wankhede definitely deserves the harshest punishment.
Well, Namit Saxena, in the middle of law and politics, what happens to citizens of India? And my question is not just about Aryan Khan. Yes, he's a celebrity son, he's a celebrity himself. Of course, the spotlight is always on them. And whether you like it or not, the media will cover celebrities. And that's the way life works. But the fact is, what happens to citizens? At least Aryan Khan, stayed in jail but had the wherewithal to fight cases. What about countless others who don't have the wherewithal to fight cases against system and agencies which wrongfully carry out the process of investigation? What happens to them?
See, you put a very pertinent question to me. See, what happens is when a particular individual or particular accused is taken into custody, that custody is not taken only because there is already evidence available on already material is available on record against him or her. The custody is also taken for collection of evidence. So there is custodial interrogation also which is to be done. So perhaps when Aryan Khan, maybe a celebrity, or you may treat him as a citizen of this country, like many others, he was taken into custody perhaps for collection of evidence as well. Now he was taken into custody, he was kept in custody for 23 days, nothing was found against him, and gradually he was granted bail, and now he has been exonerated. So this is not something which is a very unique case in a manner. This happens across the country.
And you put such a person in jail with convicts who are hardened criminals. Is that also the way this works in this country?
See, if that has been done, there are jail
if that has been done, rules. I mean, didn't you see it playing out?
If NDPS convicts or NDPS under trial prisoners are to be kept in a particular place, they have to be kept in a particular place, no matter who is he. So, the rule of the law, the rule book has to be followed in all manners.
Navika, can you stop a citizen on the road, check his mobile, even if nothing found, take him to jail because you hope to fish for a conspiracy? What kind of business is going on in our country? You stop anyone on the road randomly, even if nothing found, to take his mobile, extract a confession from him, which is against the Tufan Singh judgment, and you put him in jail. And you say, this is the process? This is not process. This is kidnapping and extortion. I am sorry. He wasn't on the cruise. You stopped him while on way to the cruise.
Absolutely, I agree with Tehseen Poonawalla.
You extracted a confession from him. No drugs were found on him, yet you put him in jail. How can you behave this way with any citizen? Leave us Aryan Khan with anyone. It could be your kids tomorrow.
Exactly. The point Aarti Sathe, the point Aarti Sathe is, it could be your kid, it could be my kid, it could be anybody's kid.
Has done wrong to him.
Anybody.
Look, 1 minute. I think everybody is talking. I don't know who the question is being
Youth is being spoiled.
Everyone is talking.
1 minute. Aarti Sathe is responding.
If would have somebody else.
1 minute. Yes, Aarti Sathe.
Right. Well, point taken that if an investigating authority has gone wrong in the way they have gone about their process, then surely that investigating authority needs to be pulled up, or the concerned officer needs to be pulled up. I am not here for a minute trying to take sides with Mr. Sameer Wankhede or his method of functioning or the style of functioning. In fact, there is an inquiry which has been initiated and it's going on. I cannot right now say, or I'm not very sure about at what stage it is. So clearly, if something has gone wrong insofar as the investigation process is concerned, there again you can pull up. And of course, the sad part is somebody suffers because of somebody's lapses. So maybe in this case also, it was Aryan Khan, so it got more publicity. Law is such. There are various laws in this country. For a simple thing, a simple minor, I will give you a simple example. Even if it is, in a husband-wife dispute also, there are lots of laws which sometimes still towards women, they are sometimes misused. Law is such which sometimes interpretationally also gets misused. But to say that a process doesn't need to be carried out, I think that's incorrect. Now, whether the rightness or the wrongness of the process is there, we have the courts of law, and we have to have full faith in the judiciary and the judicial system, which unfortunately many political parties in this country did not have. And we from day one said, look, have faith in the judiciary, have faith in the legal system. Finally, that triumphed over a period of time, or that gave the right decision. But till that, you cannot keep pointing fingers.
Sajid Supariwala is responding.
Aarti ji, we all are having full faith in the judicial, in the legal system. We are not talking about that. We are not talking about right now. What we are talking about, our youth's life has been spoiled. His name has been spoiled. 1 minute, please let me speak. When I'm speaking, please let me speak. Simple question to me, from me to you also, and everybody over here, whoever is listening, is one. He was Shah Rukh Khan's son. The youth had been jailed. He has been found non-guilty. He has been given a clean chit. The Shah Rukh Khan had his money, his power to fight within the law, and within the law he's already done it. He's been successful. What about people who cannot afford, the fathers who cannot afford the legal fees for their children and being arrested, and then they are being turned into hardened criminal when they are in jail? This is how we are spoiling the youth's life. Without investigating properly, you are putting innocents in the jail.
But then Sajid Supariwala, no political party, no government in any state can take the moral high ground, because many such cases, we are discussing Aryan Khan, but many such cases happen due to political pressure in every state. So why don't politicians look within?
I am speaking as a citizen of India right now. I am talking about a youth being jailed, innocent person.
But you are also raising the larger question, Sajid Supariwala, and this question, of course, has come up because we are seeing the way this Aryan Khan case has gone. But Sajid Supariwala, I'm also asking you, there are political parties in every state in India which misuse the law, and it goes against some youth or the other. They are faceless. They are possibly poor also, not from the economic strata that SRK's son comes from. What happens to them? Should we not ask the question?
See, Aryan Khan's case has opened a Pandora's box. If you can see what is happening, he has been given a clean chit. That means there are several thousand people who are being innocently jailed or trapped. What I am talking about right now is not about anything which is political. I am talking talking just about the future of my youth, of my country, how they are being harassed. So there should be a system wherein the investigation agency should be giving the freedom to the person to prove himself whether he is guilty or not. There should be a system in the legal system also that they should be provided security and not harassed by the investigation agency and not tortured and not threatened.
Fair point. Let me get in Namit Saxena.
So
concluding point to you, Namit Saxena. I want to ask you, in many countries abroad, if there is miscarriage of justice, people can file for compensation. Compensation not just for any monetary amount. Compensation to prove that they have been wronged by a system, wronged by an agency. Do you think India and its judicial system will allow for something like that? Something that a young man like Aryan Khan can use to come out and say that I was wrong, now I want to sue the Narcotics Control Bureau.
See, there are already provisions for malicious prosecution, etc. So it's not something that India lacks if some wrong is done by the state through an investigating agency or through whatever agency the state functions. If something wrong is to be done, has been done to a particular citizen, the citizen is well within its rights to go to the writ court or sue for malicious prosecution, if not for compensation at all. So these provisions are already there. One. Second, what Mr. He pointed out, one of my co-panelists, that whether there should be a right for to say that I am not guilty as such. So there are also checks and balances for that provided in law as well. You can give to the investigating agency a representation and say these are the evidence which I have in my favor. You have these evidences, please weigh the probabilities and come to a conclusion if I'm guilty or not. Because there's a question of weighing the probabilities where it goes, and the burden is on the prosecution to prove something beyond reasonable doubt. So these checks and balances are already there, theoretically speaking. When it comes to practical aspect of it, whether it is exercised or not,
can citizens of India actually do that? Because most of the time, the wheels of justice just turn so slowly that people lose patience. And once such a charge sheet comes, most people, out of relief, want to put the entire nightmare behind them. They never want to revisit again. In which case, and if they were to revisit it again, it would take them years and years to actually clear their name and get any compensation or apology. That's the way the law functions in India. But for any parent, and I'm a mother of 2 young children, yes, drug abuse is a scourge on our society, but if children, God forbid, have been lured into it, is there a corrective measure that we can go through? Can we teach our children rather than find them as criminals and put them in jails? It's a question every household, every city may have in their mind tonight. That's all for you, ladies and gentlemen, on the News Hour tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. Good night. Stay safe. The COVID